Keep in mind that the apartments on base, I'm almost certain they were built by the locals. So the houses on base are designed to be very similar to houses off base that you would see out in town. You know, they didn't design the homes on base to resemble what you would get in the States. It's going to resemble what you would get if you were renting a house in the public in Italy. So there are no closets here. What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaleesa if you're new here, and as I have been stating in several of my videos recently, we are on the cusp of peak PCS season. If you're a military spouse, then you know PCS means permanent change of station, which essentially means we're moving. But for all the spouses that are about to move to Naples, Italy, or Italy in general, I wanted to give you all a list of things that you can expect moving into an Italian home that are not the traditional norms that you are used to coming from America. So I will say a good post video reference after this one is to check out my house hunting video that I did, breaking down the house hunting process that my family and I did a year ago. If you are not aware, and if you're a brand new spouse coming out here to Italy, there is a mandatory live on base policy, which means that for your first year, you do have to live on base. We were able to bypass that. I broke down our house hunting process in detail. So after this video, check it out. But I will say, although I have not lived on base, I have gone into the homes on base, and there are a lot of similarities to the houses on base to what you can expect off base. So I'm going to break down in detail some of the differences, what you can expect when you move into your Italian home. So let's just go ahead and jump into this list. So first things first, first thing that you need to be prepared for is just the style of homes out here in the Naples area. 9 times out of 10, when you come out here and you do your house searching, whether you're living on base or living off base, the typical house styles that you will see are apartment style and townhome style, specifically 4-story townhomes. Whereas in the States, we have different like home housing styles. Like, you know, we have single family homes, we have 2-story townhomes, we got 3-story townhomes, we have ranch style homes, we have apartments that have, you know, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. You know, there's different types of houses back home in the States. Now there are those one-offs, like if you're in a more suburban area like Largo or Pozzuoli, you may be able to find a single family home. But the norm out here is you're going to be living in an apartment or you're going to be living in a 4-story townhome. Again, as I mentioned, I did a video on our house hunting process. I think we saw anywhere between like 10 to 15 homes, and all but 1 home during the entire house hunting search was a single family home. Every home that we saw was an apartment or a townhome. So that is something to just wrap your head around and prepare. And if you're coming from a huge single family home back in the States, just be prepared. You are going to be in an apartment, especially with that mandatory live on base policy. The homes on base are apartments unless you are a high ranking senior, you know, military official. So your 06s and above. Those are the only individuals who have like big homes. If you're not an 06 or above, you are most likely going to be in an apartment. I know that like when we talk about the American dream, all these great things, you buy a home, and they always mention back in the old days like having that white picket fence. I've never been someone who has been a fan of like fences in the front of your yard. I can't stand that. I don't like it. That's just a personal preference. Like a fence is supposed to be for the backyard, for the back of the house, not the front of the house. But I do know, like when we talk about the American dream, they talk about that white picket fence that, you know, kind of surrounds the entire home. That's not the case here. You're not seeing like short white picket fences. You are seeing like long, I don't want to say guardrails. I don't know if guardrails is the correct terminology, but still rails, like protective rails. Like it looks like a fortress. And that's like for all the homes out here. A part of it, I believe, is security purposes, I think. Another part of it, I don't know. It may just be kind of the style out here, but that is something that you will see when you go house hunting. If you're someone like myself and you're not really a fan of it, it can be a bit of an eyesore, but you know, when in Naples, do as the Napoleon people do. Something else that is different than American homes is it is not uncommon, and it's actually really, really normal for your home to be like your windows and your doors to be like fenced in by steel. It's something that I've seen in some areas and neighborhoods back home in the States, but it's definitely not normal to have like those guardrails on your home. It is not normal for every American home, but out here it is very normal for all of your windows and all of your doors to have like a guardrail on them, and you may have a key to unlock it. Like if you want to go on your patio, you got a key to unlock the guardrails. Same with the windows, but that is a norm as well. I've also talked about like the security system out here, just like with the homes being fenced in and protected by kind of that big fortress fencing. I think a lot of it has to do with just layers of security. I've mentioned it in several of my videos, but break-ins are norm here. People do get broken into. So I think just the homes being built behind large fenced in walls and each of the windows having guardrails and being fenced in with keys and security system. Again, I think it's just layers to just having good protective security in place. So that is something that you need to expect. Needless to say, in Naples, not a lot of the homes have curb appeal. So I've mentioned this a few times on my channel, but a huge difference in the Italian homes versus the American homes are the fact that the walls are made out of concrete. Let you listen to this for a second. Hear that? That's a solid wall. Do not bash your head against this wall because it's solid. It's concrete. It's made out of concrete. Now you may be wondering like, why do I care? Why is that important? Well, it's important for a few reasons. One, it's important because I have mentioned before, it is very common for mold to grow in Italian homes. And my thought process is, again, this is my brain. I'm not a architecture, I'm not a construction person, so I can't 100% validate that this is the case, but I wholeheartedly believe that a part of the reason why that mold grows easily and quickly here is in how the homes are made. And this is not just an off-base problem, because I have seen in some of the Facebook groups I'm a part of that people on base also get mold as well. And it does not matter what part of the city you're living in, whether you're in Pozzuoli or, you know, Corto, it is very possible for you to get mold in your home. And again, my thought process is, I think it's just the type of the way that the house is made, also just how much ventilation can get into the home, also how much light can get into the home. So again, the homes are made out of concrete, and that's something to consider. Whereas back in the States, the homes are made with like wood, what's the word? Drywall, Lord, I'm gonna sound crazy, but that pink stuff in there, gosh, I can't even think of it. It's not ventilation, but you get what I'm saying. The homes are made out of drywall, and there's just, the homes are made with a little bit more layers. And I will say that I've never experienced like mold growing the way that I've experienced it here. And again, I think it's just due to the type of materials the homes are made from. Now, if you're someone who has a preference for carpet and you love to come home and take your shoes off and just walk on some nice warm carpet, sorry to let you know, there's no carpets. out here in Italian homes, carpet is not a thing. And that's not even just Naples, but I mean, we have stayed in Airbnbs in Rome, Florence, and Milan, and none of them have had carpets. So just put that out there. The flooring that you should go ahead and prepare yourself for is tile. And that's not even just off-base housing, but that is on-base housing as well. Tile is the standard flooring in all the homes out here. So just be prepared for that. If you're going to be staying in a home where the landlords have made some updates to the place, then you may get some hardwood floors. Our apartment has hardwood flooring in a portion of our home, and I've also, when we did our house tour, there was also a home that we saw that was very, very renovated, and they had like LVP floors. So in more of the updated homes, you may see some hardwood floors or LVP, but it is a norm. The houses out here, they all come with tiles. So something I would recommend that a lot of people do is just go buy some carpet. You know, we bought some carpet from IKEA, and then they also have this store Happy Casa out here that is kind of like the Italian version of Bed Bath & Beyond. You know, you can get some carpet from there too. So that's my recommendation. The fact that the houses are made from concrete and the lack of carpet leads me to my next point of just the heating systems in the home and just how the homes are warmed up. We have been blessed. I put quotation marks because I don't know if it's a blessing or not, but we have central AC in our apartment unit. However, it is not normal out here. Most of the apartments out here do not have central AC. Most of the apartments, you have AC units in each of the rooms. So if you're coming from the States, you know that there is just central AC in most of the homes or apartments. I mentioned the flooring and the material that the homes are made out of, because as you can imagine, there's no housing insulation. Like there's no insulation in the wall, there's no drywall, and like, there's no carpet on the floor. I feel confident saying that those types of materials used to make the houses back home help to kind of keep some heat in the air and like capture some of that heat in the home, whereas there's none of that here. There's no carpet, there's no insulation in the wall. So it like you're really walking in, like when you come into these homes, you're really walking into like this cold like concrete box. Sounds worse than what it is, but again, it's just a house made of like concrete and tile. And in the winter time, it is brick squad cold in your home. Like I want to make sure you all are aware, it is cold in these homes in the winter time. Do not be surprised. I think that's kind of like the downside of us having central AC is, I know in the winter time, and now that it's transitioning to spring, when it got like super cold, we had to ask our landlords to turn the heat on, turn like the central heat on for us to crank up some heat. And even when they turned it on, it still wasn't warm. And it was the same case when it was the springtime, and it was like, okay, turn the AC on, like cut the heat off, turn the AC on. We had to go ask the landlord. I'm not 100% sure what AC system indicates whether you have to ask your landlord to turn the heat on or turn it off based on the seasons, but needless to say, because you're in like a shell of a home, there's no carpet, there's no insulation in the walls, it can get really, really cold in these homes when it is winter time. Just be prepared. In the winter time, you will be bundled up like I am now. You will have on all the clothes that you can get your hands on in the winter time, because it is just cold. And in the summertime, it is blazing hot out here. And I would say, if you're gonna be moving into a house, make sure the house has some form of a overhead fan, because it gets super, super hot. And it's nothing wrong with having an AC unit in your room, because again, what's normal out here is to have like a unit in each room, but I'm almost certain like having that can crank up and increase your electric bill. So You just want to make sure you have a backup option. If you don't have an AC unit, you have a fan. I would especially make sure you have some sort of a fan if you're going to be living on base, because I do know that power outages are a thing on base. Power outages are a thing. I feel like once every week, definitely once every 2 weeks, I feel like I'm seeing people saying like, oh, you know, what a great way to start the morning. There's a power outage, or at night there's a power outage. Like, I feel like it is a common thing for the power to go out on base. So for all the shoppers and the people who love to have a nice full jam-packed wardrobe, I am so sorry to break our hearts out here, but closets are not a thing. Walk-in closets are not a thing. When you get here in Italy, you will have to adapt and become accustomed to wardrobes. Wardrobes are how people hang their clothes up. Wardrobes along with dressers, that is how you'll be able to house your clothes. I really miss having a closet. I miss having a walk-in closet. Like, I miss that space. If you know, you know. Like, having that extra space, when you start to lose it, it's heartbreaking. I will say we do have a closet close to our front door, which is very, very rare. And it is a true closet, because the closet in our back room is really not a closet. It's more so a closet with a bunch of wardrobes. Essentially, it's a wardrobe in a back part of our home that they call a closet, but it is really just a bunch of wardrobes. We are lucky because we do at least have one closet for all our coats and stuff, but that is not norm. All of the homes that we looked at, with the exception of this one, did not have closets. You get wardrobes. I think the base supplies you with the wardrobe. So if you're coming out here as a military spouse, if you were thinking about it, I'm here to encourage you. It is a good idea to go through your clothes and really, really be intentional about getting rid of things that you do not need, because I'm telling you, you will not have space to keep it because there are no closets, and you're gonna want to shop when you get here, and you're not gonna have much room to go shopping for new stuff and then keep the old stuff. So the next difference in Italian homes compared to homes in the United States are the type of appliances that you can expect when you enter your home. So assuming you're not going into like a brand spanking new house, you can typically expect a refrigerator, a washer, dryer, and dishwasher. And America is always about the bigger the better. You know, it's not just that you got a refrigerator, but you got a fancy refrigerator that's got all the bells and whistles. I mean, now the refrigerators are coming with like computers in them. Like, I've seen some of them Samsung refrigerators. They're like decked out. Do not expect all the bells and whistles when you come out here to Italy. You get a refrigerator and a washer and dryer. And I've mentioned this before, but to call it out again, your appliances will be supplied by the base. So stove, refrigerator, washer and dryer will come from the base. But you all notice I did not mention dishwasher. And I did not mention it because I don't know how standard that is for homes out here in Italy. Thankfully, our apartment, we do have a dishwasher. If you're moving out here, be prepared to not have a dishwasher. I think the apartments on base have dishwashers, but again, I don't 100% recall. All of the appliances, I will say, are small compared to what you're used to in the United States. All the appliances are small, one. And when it comes to the washer and dryer, the washer is small, but it holds its own. But the dryer, look, worst dryers I've ever had. And again, we are provided our dryer from the base. I've mentioned it before, but the refrigerator is pretty standard basic refrigerator, and it does not have a ice maker. So again, get yourself a little bowl, keep it in the freezer to have ice, and the freezers here are small. And also gas stoves. Gas stoves are the norm out here. I personally, I think I may be one of those rare cases. I do not like using a gas stove. I didn't grow up using a gas stove, and I don't like using a gas stove, but gas stoves are normal out here. What I don't particularly like about the stoves are the fact that like the oven is just, it's hard to regulate the oven temperature. And I have noticed that the oven, like you'll turn it on and then like maybe 2 or 3 minutes after you turn it on, it'll cut off. And like you have to turn the oven on like 2 or 3 times, sometimes even 4 or 5 times, just for the gas to kind of stay on and the oven to maintain its heat. And I thought it was just our stove that did that, but I've heard and spoken to people that have the same issues with the oven. So if you are a baker, prepare yourself for that. If you like to bake, just prepare yourself. Like these gas ovens and stoves, they are very finicky. All right, y'all, hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any additional questions about what you can expect moving into your Italian home, please comment below. If you have other like pressing questions that you want or need to know when it comes to PCSing in general as a military spouse, or specific PCS questions when if it pertains to Italy, especially like Naples and Sigonella, let me know. I will try my best to answer them. And if I get a large amount of questions, I may create a whole nother video. So I have such a great library of helpful videos when it comes to just moving out to Italy in general, moving overseas in general as a military spouse. So make sure you check those videos out. But if you have any additional questions, I'm always here to help and answer. So comment below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, I will see you in the next video below.